Hello, everybody. Welcome to White Privilege, Black Power, a diversity and inclusion show raising funds for Black lives. I'm Kunor Bahal, and I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Mindhatch. Mindhatch is about a lot of things, but at roots, it's about creating the conditions for innovation and creativity to exist in business and organizations. We use methods such as design thinking, organizational improv, and innovation facilitation. And now through diversity and inclusion programs such as White Privilege, Black Power, which you are about to see a small taste of. Countless studies have proven and shown that diverse and inclusive teams and in organizations are more innovative, more creative, more successful in business, deliver better for the business. The data is out there. We just have to have the will to make it happen, right? The business case exists. So for Mindhatch, we thought to ourselves, if we're going to be helping our customers create environments in which innovation and creativity can flourish, we know we also have to be involved in creating environments in which diversity, equity, and inclusion flourish. So I'm so flattered that Eva and Greg, longtime friends of mine from the DC improv community, came to me late last year and asked if they could trust their White Privilege, Black Power show to Mindhatch. After 4 years of them performing in front of audiences, they knew and were realizing that the show could go beyond entertainment value and also offer a path to change. So we're so happy. You're joining the second and last of these fundraiser shows this week. We've had nearly 400 people sign up for both of these events. On Wednesday, we raised over $1,600. So let's see if we can beat that today. Just a little competition to put in there. But there's a great deal of need, as you might all know, out there to support Black lives right now. And the needs are really evolving every single day. So where your funds are going to be going to today is to an Act Blue campaign that will distribute all funds based on need to more than 70 community bail funds, mutual aid groups, and racial justice organizations. So we'll include the link in the chat for you in a moment. But over the next 25 minutes, please just sit back, get used to the sound of your own laughter because you will all be on mute. You won't be able to hear anyone but Greg and Eva. Reflect, and please donate generously. And I'll turn it over to Greg and Eva right now. Everyone, please enjoy the show.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Thank you, Kunor.
Thanks so much. So once again, we are White Privilege, Black Power. I'm Eva Lewis, and that is
Greg Tindale.
excellent. All right. And as Kunor said, we've been together almost 4 year now. It started off, at least in my mind, I don't know about Greg, but it started in my mind as a one-off show where Greg and I were just going to, we were part of a social conscious show. And the idea was that we would have a conversation, get honest responses, and then do scenes off of those responses. And so we've been doing that, and we've also expanded just between ourselves, but then adding in different perspectives that we ourselves may not have, or may not be clear that we have, and inviting other improvisers to come join us. So what you'll see today is the first thing we'll do is I have a question for Greg, and then Greg will answer honestly. We'll chat a little bit, and then we'll do a scene. And then we'll take some of the suggestions or some of the scenarios and experiences that you all wrote when you registered to come on to this call, this meeting, this fundraiser, and we'll use that also as a way, as a jumping off point for another improv scene. Know that all this is made up. Know that this question that I'm about to pose to Greg, he has not heard at all. But before we get started, I didn't know, Greg, if you wanted to do any other intro before we get into this.
No, that's all good. I'll just say that also we just started a new Instagram account for ourselves so that we could reach out people and share more of the work online. So if you just go to at White Privilege Black Power on Instagram and follow us there.
Excellent. There you go. Got to put the plug in. Excellent. So Greg, with all of this, with the protests and the murders of Black people that is continuing, but it just seemed like within that 90-day period, there were just so much. And then we're learning even more about cases where there was no video, but it was the injustice that happened. So Greg, I guess, and Greg and I, and in fact, we just had a very long, and it wasn't intense, but it was very in-depth conversation on Wednesday about a little bit about performative activism, right? Which is a big one, where people may be, putting up stuff on social media. And so my thing is like some folks are performative, but then some also are doing performative, which also we're about to do for you right now, about to perform, but also are also doing the work. And so I would say my question to Greg is particularly, because Greg is a cisgender male, heterosexual, married with 2 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, beautiful family, living a beautiful life. And so, on paper, right, like, you're living the dream, and like, you have certain privileges that we already know from the things that I've just mentioned. And so I wanted to get your perspective, particularly right now, like, what is it that you're doing to further educate? Because I know you've been reading these books that people like, some of the books that they even mentioned in the chat. And so thank you all for the work you're doing. But what else are you doing to educate yourself and educate others in your circle who may not be as woke as you may be?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it's interesting because the conversation that we had offline essentially was, is it better to be on social media saying you're doing all this stuff, or actually behind the scenes doing all of it? And so because like we've been doing the show for over 3.5 years, I kept talking to people, and I've been doing the work, and then all of a sudden it feels like a whole new influx of people are in white people doing the work, which is awesome. I really appreciate it. But I also am like, okay, but are these people here to last? And so it felt to me like individually like a little disingenuous if I was going to start like listing off all the things that I was doing on social media, like I wanted attention for it, because I didn't feel like the personal attention was the important part. To me, the important part was actually doing the work. So one of the things that we did in our little hometown, so we live like in a small little rural area, but they had a Black Lives Matter rally, just like a couple, 50, 100 people, however it was. And so because of COVID and we have 2 little kids, we didn't want to like actually be there, like mixing with people, but we drove our van over, and like we went over and like made a Black Lives Matter sign and like honked and like gave thumbs up to everybody and like waved. And like it actually, I didn't think it was going to like make me so emotional, like when we did it, but like, I'm like driving down Main Street, like honking and like waving and like supporting people. And I'm like, holding back tears as like I'm driving onto the wheel. So teaching our children like, hey, people are struggling right now and they're asking for our help. And it's our job as good neighbors and community members and country men and women to give them the help when they need the help. So that was important for for our kids. And my company, so like my day job is I work in real estate. And I'm actually, I'm not gonna say that I'm lucky because I chose it to be like this, but the company that I work at is a little boutique firm, and it's actually a very diverse company. So it's important for me that when I'm working, I'm around other people that are of different backgrounds. And so we had a call to essentially talk about what as a company can we do for Black Lives Matter. And so again, like this is one where like, because there are other people who like have a better perspective on it, who are actually Black, I was like, I'm not gonna like really talk up, but I wanted to be able to be there and support. And so one of the things that someone was saying was like, like we need to get like militant and like challenge these other companies to like really hire Black people and support Black people. And they're like, we need to let people know if they work here, like that's the kind of company that we want to be. And I just unmuted myself and I was just like, hey, like for the record, like I'm ready to burn it all down. Like let's go. Like let's be as as like radical as we want to actually go out and do it. So so I think like on my personal life and my business life, they're all things that I'm trying to get out there and do. And like you mentioned, the books that I've been reading over the last bunch of years to get more of a feeling of like the white fragility book and how to be how to be anti-racist, all those type of things. But so I think that it's important to be doing those things. And then the question that I feel like is a longer conversation after maybe in this moment is, do you then have to go out and tell people that you're doing them, or is like the people you're doing with them the most important part?
There you go. Excellent. All right, let's get into it. All right. Okay. Thanks everyone for being here, particularly Greg. Thank you for showing up. As an organization, like our mission is to make sure that young people know the benefits and the beauty of sewing, right? And what it adds to one's life. And so but we know there's a lot of unrest and a lot of things that need to change. And so I just want everyone to think of ways that we, as a sewing association of the DMV, can bring some of this Black Lives Matter activities. I do want to point out, and that's why I directly pointed out Greg, because I know Greg has been doing some of the work, but I don't know exactly what you're doing. And so kind of in my mind, I'm like, does it count if you're not showing it, right? Like, like, so I want to give you that space right now, Greg,
Okay.
and say what you're doing.
Sure. Well, I guess first of all, I just want to get out there and say Black Lives Matter. I'll say it because some people don't say it.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing, and I will say it directly to your face, or I will say it over the internet. Visually with my mouth saying it, I don't particularly like typing it. And maybe that has to get back to our sewing, because we use our hands for like needles. So if I'm going to say something, I'll say it with the needle and thread. So I've made countless different wall art hangings with Black Lives Matter, defund the police, abolish the police, abolish ICE. So I've been making a lot of these things just with needles and thread and cloth, and then I've been hanging them around the neighborhood. So a lot of people have been seeing those things as they drive by. They'll say, oh, like, that's beautiful. Oh, and then they'll get a message too. So I think it's like a double-edged sword right there. You need to make it be beautiful because we're artists. We're all, sewers, seamstresses.
Yeah. But it seems, I just want to say, like, our association, it seems like it's more about you, right? Instead of the community. Like, how are you getting, because our goal is to make sure that young people know the benefits of sewing, like needle and thread, two metal rods, clink, clink, coming together, right? Like the monotony of it, like all of that stuff. How are you? I mean, like, let me talk about myself, right?
Okay.
You all obviously know I don't know much about sewing. Okay, I just know that my mom did it, my grandmother did it. I call those two metal things clink clink things, right? But I just know that when I'm feeling distressed, I just like to do the motion and get a bit of yarn and start weaving. And I make very ugly pieces. We all know this, but I know how to organize.
And for not to interrupt you, for the record,
What
you are talking about is knitting and not sewing. So that's one of those things where, like, as an organization, there might be there's two different things going on here. But I think though that telling the people in the knitting community as well that that these things are going on is super important. Okay. But so one of the things that I did with my knitting needles, because I'm also an avid knitter, is I went down to the police station and then I stuck them into all the wheels of the tires, all the cars. So all the flat tires in the police station they're all flat. So that way, when the protesters come out, they're more protected.
Be quiet. Stop saying that. Like it's right now. I mean, you came out very hot at the beginning of this, and it seemed like because you came out real strong. Black Lives Matter, like, and I appreciate the intensity, right? Because that's what we need. And I thought the biggest problem would be me not knowing the difference of knitting and sewing. Is that's really the truth? That's two completely different things. Like, you just can't sew use the clanky things. You can't sew.
No, the sewing needles are like this big, and knitting needles are like this big.
I just okay, all right.
But what you can do with sewing needles, which is really good too, is that you can put them. You can take like a piece of like sandpaper and you stick the needles up through like a big piece of sandpaper. Then you put it out across the road, and then when the cops roll over it, all their tires go flat because of the needles. So then you can
we are in the public library. People can hear you. Okay, like this. All right, like here, like, Greg. Yes, I'm down for the revolution. Okay, I'm down for the revolution. It's just that I don't know if we should be doing this under the umbrella of the Sewing Association of the DMV.
But this,
right?
listen, we have the talent here. We have the talent. So what we do is we crochet a bunch of nets, and then when they throw the tear gas in it, we catch it with our crocheted nets, and then we just flip it back towards the police.
Oh.
Like, think of we got the skill. This is an Etsy revolution. This is we're makers, and we're ready to make a new world. Like, we need to get revolutionary here. We need to just get off the sidelines.
Okay, and like like I don't want to be one to hold back the revolution. I just want to take a pause on the that crochet thing. That's self-defense. That's true. That's something I would be down for. But the actively slashing tires of police officers, maybe our white members can do that, and like Godspeed, hope you're fast, right? Go for it. But all those people who have melanin in your skin, do not do that. Okay, you just let's not risk it. But white folks, if you want to do that, you can do that. Oh boy, it's just okay. This meeting just took a turn. I just wanted us to be more visible on social media. I was thinking that maybe we could do TikTok, right? And do some now I know it's knitting, use the clanky things and like do some knitting and whatnot. But
I have crocheted myself an entire Batman suit, and so I will be going out to the protests and restoring the rule of law, and getting the bad cops. I'm going vigilante, I guess, with my my crocheted Batman suit is what I'm trying to say. So that's my next step.
All right. Hey, I kind of like it. Batman's my favorite superhero, even though he doesn't really have superhero powers, but he's rich and he can do what he wants, and he got a lot of gadgets. I'm down for you doing that, Greg. Because if it's just you doing it, maybe we'll have a camera.
Here's the thing. What? I crocheted you a Catwoman suit. So if you're in, it'll be a whole thing. Are you in?
Yes, I'm in. I'm in. I'm not touching anybody, but I'm definitely wearing the suit.
Let's see.
So great.
And I hope I'm not the only one who learned something today.
I was taking notes. I was like, this is going to my revolutionary handbook of like when you're desperate and feel like you can act like a person, do these things. Yeah.
It's an Etsy revolution.
Awesome, great. Well, we are, completely. The revolution will begin one hand crocheted oven mitt at a time. So we have raised almost $1,400. So
whoa.
Today are making the Wednesday crowd look like chumps, which I didn't think was possible. But thank you all so much for that. Let's go ahead and I'll give Eva and Greg something that was shared by our attendees to inspire their next scene. So what one person writes, being a time when they were made to feel, different in the workplace was being the only person of color on a 40-person work team and not being able to relate to weekends at the beach house or on the boat.
Excellent. Right there you go. Right. So I guess this is a situation that a lot of folks are put into, where there's like some cultural things, right? Or you're like growing up that you may not have had this. If you all remember the episode of Good Times where Michael, I think, was protesting an aptitude test, and one of the questions was like about a guest room, and people were like, "What's a guest room?" Right? Like, when people are doubling up, as like Michael and JJ slept on the pull-out sofa, and if you don't watch Good Times, go take a look. Good show. But yes, I think that is something very unique to a lot of folks, right? In terms of like not knowing, certain things, because that's not the way you grew up. Like you may have gone on vacations and this and that, but like a beach house, like that's completely different. And like talking of that experience, like you may have gone, for us Marylanders, it's Ocean City, right? Like or Sandy Beach that folks go to. So like that is definitely something you can be aware of. I think, Greg, I don't know if you can think of anything in your experience of like knowing.
Well, I can say that like I grew up like not like really low socioeconomically, but like I didn't get on an airplane until I was maybe like 16 or 17. We did like Ocean City vacations, but staying in like a hotel room type thing. So it was never like I didn't have like those levels of like grandeur. But as an adult, I have kids now, And now that I'm socioeconomically higher on the rung, like I'm doing all these things for my kids where I'm just like, am I spoiling my kids? Like, like when we went out of the country when my daughter was 2, and I was like, does a 2-year-old need a passport? Like, am I being a good like global citizen and that I'm like showing her to travel? But like, is it also crazy to be, taking a 2-year-old to Australia? Like, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but I certainly wouldn't go to a place where I would expect other people to know that. And I think that's the, when you grow up not having as much and then you get stuff, I think you can appreciate that some people don't have stuff. So I think that's really there's like the empathy part of it, is that to be able to understand your own privilege, understand what was normal to you might not be normal to other people. And to do that work to see where those issues lie.
Exactly. No. And just briefly for myself, like, like I was on a plane before high school, or like you said, at college, or this and that. And then in terms of like traveling abroad, like I did that. And first time was in, well, I guess Puerto Rico doesn't count, but in terms of Puerto Rico does count and should have statehood if they want that. But in also in terms of traveling was in college and things like that. But then I look at my niece, right, who's already traveled as a high schooler, as a niece, a freshman or sophomore. She's already been across the pond, right? So it's interesting. But I think Greg hit it right on the nail, which is like people being aware of that and like not thinking that that's everyone's experience, but allowing the space to tell their story, but allowing the space to allow people to tell their stories of like how they vacationed, right? Whether it be on a smaller scale of Ocean City or Sandy Beach in Maryland, or going to Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, excellent.
Hey, honey, I was going over our shared calendar. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that you blocked off the entire month of August.
Yeah.
And in big letters on each of the days, it just says New Zealand.
Yeah.
So are we going to New Zealand in August?
Oh yeah. Growing up, my family always took the whole month of August off, and we would just pick a destination, right? So I've been to Australia, Italy, Spain, Mexico, Peru. And I said, let me go back over near Australia. Never been to New Zealand, right? Like I think we did like a 1-day trip over, right, when we did our month in Australia, but I didn't really get to dive in to the culture and the food and the people. So like that's where we're going to take our August vacation.
Okay. I mean, that's cool. I mean, because that I'm like a big Lord of the Rings fan, and they filmed it there. Like that's my only real experience with the country. But I mean, I have a job. What am I going to do? I can't just take a month off of work and go to New Zealand to chase hobbits.
I hope you're not chasing anything, right, except me on the beach. But I don't know about these hobbits that are in New Zealand. But I mean, what's the problem here? I mean, it's a priority, like huge vacation time. Like this is a time for us to unwind and get away. Like, boy, oh boy, this year has been tough, right? I mean, It's been a lot. And so like, I think it's just a good time for us to get away and just to be together as a family. And I just think it's about priorities, right? Like, I mean, if you want to spend time with your family and
I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll do it in New Zealand.
I mean, you have like a whole, I mean, it's one thing about the month of August, but the second half of July, you've just blocked out for sailboat training. So do we have to train on a sailboat here in order to go do sailboating there?
Oh, obviously we're going to sailboat to New Zealand. I mean, like that's the whole part of this is like, I mean, my family in all those places, like we want to keep our carbon footprint down, right? So like we do a little refresher on the sailing. You've been sailing with my family when we go to Martha's Vineyard. Like I'd be like, this is not a surprise. Like we are avid sailors, and we're just gonna hop on, and obviously we'll have a crew to help do like kind of the real technical stuff. But as a backup, we should know this, and so we'll need that training late July, and then and then end of July. About a week's journey, I think that's going to take, and then we'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, just before we met, like the most exotic place I ever traveled to was Boston. And then now, we're going to, we're leaving on a boat from the East Coast of the United States and sailing around the Cape of South America to New Zealand across the Pacific Ocean.
You've already mapped it out. It's excellent. Hey, babe, I'm hearing some resistance right now. What's going on? Is this you? We all know my family is ultra wealthy, right? I don't really like to say super. I feel like it's ultra, right? I feel disgusted saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not me. Okay. Like I definitely want to use the benefits of that money, of course, right? Gotta live. But what's on your mind? Like, well, tell me these things, because like what you're talking about work, one, you have time that you can take off. Two, they have internet, Wi-Fi, hotspots. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's like because I work for your father and I want to prove
even
that
better. I mean, duh, I forgot you work for them. Yes. Look, I will tell Papa that you will not be going to work. Just take all of July off in August, okay?
I just don't like when I go into the office and people call me a himbo, because I feel like I pull my weight in the office, but nobody respects me because they say that I'm your boy toy. They say that I'm just a pretty face with nothing in between my ears. They say that he looks good, smells good, but doesn't know how to do math. I do know how to do math. I've got good grades in math.
You know how to do math.
So I just don't like hearing that stuff.
But can I go back to something you said? Mm-hmm. Like all that stuff is like, I can see how it's mean. All of it is true and is all the things that made me attracted to you, right? But like, and you're not a boy toy, right? You are my husband, okay? You done and done, right? We had a ceremony and everything, okay? But you said something like a himbo. What's a himbo?
Well, there's a derogatory for women called bimbo, and so it's the male version of that, which is also derogatory.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a lot of charge. It's a charged environment, and I just get a feeling like people don't appreciate me there, which is why I want to do a good job. And if I'm taking off 6 weeks to train, to go over there, to be there, and then it's another 2 weeks after to come back, and then a 2-week debrief after that. Like that's a long time I'm away from my direct people there.
I won't stand for this. I'm calling Papa right now, okay? And I'm gonna get this straight.
No, I don't.
He's gonna call all staff meeting, and there will be no more use of himbo, bimbo. No one should be using derogatory terms in my father's business, okay? So hold on, let me just get him on the phone, okay?
Okay.
This is not right. It's not right at all.
Hey, and while you have him on the phone, can you ask him if I left my other bathing suit in the personal sauna in my office?
Dad,
because I've been.
Papa, yes, it's me. I just got the most distressing news right now, okay? Yes, my husband, he's the one, yes. He's saying that people are calling him Bo. Stop laughing. It's not funny. It's really lame. It's not funny. It's not funny. Okay. I just need you to call all staff meeting or send out an email or Slack or whatever you all are using to communicate in that office and tell people to stop this immediately. Hold on. I'll put you on mood, babe. Okay. Hey, I don't want my husband being made a fool of, okay? Yes, he can stand up for himself, but he doesn't have that kind of temperament, okay? That's not him. All right? Also, he left his bathing suit. You have it? Okay, I'll be over tonight. All right, thank you. Please handle this. Thanks. All right, babe, let me unmute you. Okay. All right. It's all straightened out.
Thank you, honey.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna. Don't worry about this.
Okay.
And don't worry, okay? Just like we're going to do our thing, and your job is secure and everything. All right.
All right.
And just know that you have a different upbringing than I have, and I just need you to just to come in, embrace this.
Okay. Hey, let's go chase those hobbits.
I won't, and you better not either, because I don't trust hobbits. I don't know who they are, but I don't trust it. All right, Steve.
You don't trust any hobbits.
No, I don't
They're
know.
like they're like the most trustworthy things that there
They're
are.
the most trustworthy. Yeah, that's my biggest beef with Lord of the Rings. It's all about like the reign of man has come, and I'm like, there's so many better species in that world than man that I can give it over to. I really get it. Yeah.
I just say that character didn't know what a hobbit.
Go to the hobbit.
Exactly. Yeah. I know a little bit about hobbits. They're small. There's something about a ring, a precious, right?
Something about a ring.
Right. Elijah Wood, wasn't he a hobbit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You sound like my mom trying to explain a movie she just slept through. Yeah. Just every movie she's ever seen. We have reached over $1,800. Everyone, thank you so much. We still have almost 70 people on the line. Greg and Eva, do you feel down for doing an encore? Do you want to do one more scene?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, down, stay on.
Okay. Of course, if you do need to drop off, we totally understand. We won't take it as an insult. Thank you for being here if you do need to drop off. But we're going to do one more scene based on one more suggestion from someone who provided one. And this one, they wrote, my white coworker asked me and a group of other Asian women to each say the weirdest foods we've each eaten.
Oh boy. Yeah. Clarification. This Kenor. So you said it was the white coworker talking to all other Asian Americans.
Like a small group of women. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and apparently the white coworker was like, yeah. Oh, 3 Asian women. You must eat weird stuff. Like
obviously.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, that person's been cool. Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the question of like, where are you from? In that you believing that someone else, what they eat is weird, right? Because that's just like framing itself in your own narrative of what you think is normal or not normal. And then, like if you live in a place where like there's a lot of octopuses in the ocean next to you and you just catch and eat them, like that's not weird. That's normal for you. I think too about being from Maryland and your Maryland Dems has a crab on it. Like we in the Chesapeake Bay area eat crabs. Like that, is there anything weirder than like an ocean spider with armor? Like that's like if we're talking about things that are like science fiction-y, like a crab could easily just be from another planet and we would not know.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's also this conversation, like it's a conversation of other. Right. And like for most people, it's more of a the baseline is their life, right? And a lot of times what we're learning in society, a baseline for us is like white culture, right? And then like everything else is other, right? That's not mainstream, right? And so that I think that person thought they were being cool probably, or maybe they knew exactly what they're doing and putting people on the spot. But here's the thing, like everything is probably weird until you actually you taste it, but the point out that particularly for these Asian women or the Asian folks who were in front saying that, obviously what you're eating is weird and it's weird, right? Yeah. When it's not weird, when it's just like, this is what I eat every day and I'm gonna keep it going.
Yeah. And I also, like, I think about like growing up, our family ate what we ate. And then I had a girlfriend, like family were Italian. My family's Italian too on one side. And they would do like olive oil with like the black pepper and it's like bread to dip in it. And I had never, like as a family, like an Italian family, we never had that. And that seems just like, it's like, wait, like a lot of people do this? Like there's things that you, just based off of what you generally do, like there are things that might be happening all around you that you don't even know are things. Like I don't think I ever ate hummus like growing up, like not once. And then now like you eat it every day of your life. Just because it's around. There's more of it. Kale, it's just around. There's more of it, but you don't know until it's just around.
You get around. Yep. Excellent. All right. Okay. Let's just bow our heads before we get into this meal here. Thank you, Lord, for the food we're about to eat, and then for the hands that have prepared it. Amen. Okay, rubber dub. Let's get into this. Woo. This is exciting. Oh man, love a good potlucks. Thanks so much for bringing
Yeah.
over the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is actually a really interesting dish that my mom invented, which is cool. So what it is it's chicken,
Uh-huh.
and then there's breading on top of the chicken.
Okay.
Then there's some mozzarella and then some red sauce, and we call it chicken tindalano.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen this at least at Maggiano's when I go there. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it's like chicken with breading and red sauce and mozzarella. No, that's something that my family invented. It's like a family recipe.
You mean like invented like centuries ago in Italy?
No,
Or...
it probably was like 1985. Well, I was 3 at the time. My mom invented chicken tindalano, and we were the first people to ever do it.
Yeah. I know I know your last name is Tatilano, but I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's just chicken parm. That is, like you can get it in the frozen food section. You can get it anywhere.
But it has breading and red sauce and mozzarella.
Yeah, which are all very common items.
Do they add anything else onto it?
Maybe more cheese on top. But yeah. Hey, but if your mom put a little special spin on it, let's dig in. I'm ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Right.
You guys have a little serving. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This tastes exactly like chicken parm. Yeah, I've had this.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing different, but still good.
Good. It's a surprise to me that she's had it. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Okay, all right. Well, here's another. Maybe this is a surprise, and I've never seen this before on a table. I just see you have a bowl of water, and it looks like there's like some parsley. It looks like some leafy thing, and maybe pepper. What's the bowl of water with the herbs and spices in it? What's that?
So. What you actually do is you'll notice that under your seat right now, there's a washcloth that was put there. So you take the washcloth and then you dip it in the bowl of water, and then you put it like kind of on your neck like this, and then the aromas help give a flavor to the. You've never had parsley water before? You never dabbed it?
No, but I'm open to new experiences. This is unusual. This is unusual for me. But I'm here to go along. I did study abroad. So I'm all about, trying new things. And I was a Peace Corps volunteer. So I've had many of stuff I should not have been eating, but I did it, right, to try stuff.
I guess I'm trying to make up my mind is that because you say you've had chicken tindalano before, but you haven't had parsley water, and they're kind of like peanut butter and jelly, like they go together. So maybe I don't know what's
okay. Like I am working on myself. In the past life, I would just come out straight to you, coworker to coworker. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting me over and having this. But then I would just say, like, this is weird, right? This is weird food. This is a weird custom. Like a parsley water. And I dab myself. I do feel refreshed, and I love the smell. But
you brought a bunch of chickpeas mashed up. Like what is that? What is that? It's just like mashed up beans, bean mash.
Yeah, it's hummus. It is something hummus I just came to in the past couple of years. It's nice, and I feel like it's healthy, right? I think it is healthy, right? And so. Yeah, if you want to call it bean mash, you can call it bean mash, but hummus has been around for ages, things like this. But like I said, I don't want to call this weird or unusual, even though I have just said that. But I want to say for the record, like I'm open to experiences, and I'm open to a new culture. And so maybe in the Tatiano family, right? This is your experience, is that you have what is chicken parm is
Yeah,
is that.
I hear you. Let's just get on to the second course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
all right.
At this point, you can remove your shoes and socks, and you'll notice that there's an aquarium underneath the table filled with Oscar piranha fish. And so you're going to want to go ahead and put your feet into that aquarium, and then put a little bit of the Parmesan cheese into that, and then that'll just kind of kick off the second course.
Well, I'm not doing that because I don't know where those piranha have been, and I know piranhas are piranhas, and so like what you know what? Why don't you tell me the history of like this tradition in your family? Like, where does it come from?
Sure. My mom invented it again, and
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she worked at a PetSmart, and this one actually is a newer one. She invented it 2 years ago. And what happens is the piranha actually they tickle your feet, and it's just a really nice way to have a little tickle while you're.
Why is the piranha trying to get out of the fish tank right now? Like what? Why is
well,
that? What's it happening?
There's piranhas and there's an iguana in there. So in my family, we call this part of the meal the piranha iguana.
What? But it's you may want to look underneath as well, because like it's coming out, and like it's I'm moving my legs, but it's like it's trying to get away. Like I don't want to kill it, right? You know, I'm not about killing animals anymore, but like this is out of control. I
mean, Eva, listen, we all have our different cultures, and I just would appreciate if you could just be a little bit more.
It bit me. What?
Yep, that's happening. That is when it's, you know, it's time. That's when we know it's time for dessert.
That's the signal for dessert.
Yeah, when the iguana bites, the dessert, it's time to fight over which kind of pie you're gonna have. So
all right, what I think I subdued it. So all right, what? Well, I'm being open. Okay, yeah. This is not the norm. And I don't like subduing iguanas or pariahs. And so what's the dessert? What you got on what's the third course?
So I actually don't know what's for dessert because the iguana made it. So I think we just look under that blanket, that little piece of cloth, the piece of cloth that has Black Lives Matter sewn onto it. Look under there and see what's in the bowl.
It looks like feces. It looks like the dirty water with pellets in it.
Okay. And well, that's what the iguana is serving. So I won't make you. You don't have to eat that. That wouldn't. Yeah.
No, I'm not eating it. And Greg, I gotta just tell you that you need to get out more, because what you have just presented to me is not right. I do like the parsley water. I like the bowl of parsley water that I'm taking back to my house. Okay, I will do that. But the iguana and the pariahs and the shit water dessert, you eat it.
Listen, I told the iguana to make apple pie. That's what I asked of him, and this is what I feel like he double crossed me just now. So
did he? Or is that apple pie to an iguana? Is that the apple pie to iguana?
That's a great question.
Why don't you go ahead and eat it then?
I probably won't, but
indeed.
Amazing. Thank you, Greg and Eva. White privilege, Black power. Thank you so much. Well, we have rocked it today. We are at $1,900 donation. On Wednesday. Thank you all so much. We're gonna send you all like a final kind of like donation shot by email later on today. So stay tuned for more of that by email, including additional resources to help you bring D&I into your workplace. And I wanted to just leave us all with, so hopefully you all can see this. It says, comedy doesn't change things. Comedy changes people. People change things. And it's a quote from a former senior producer of The Daily Show that I think is really apt about what you can do. I hope the small amount of comedy you saw today really inspires you to be one of those people who's now going to go change things in your workplace, in your life, everywhere. So thank you all so much again for joining us, and we will see you soon, hopefully.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for being on. Thanks for doing the work.